Blog Talk Radio.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to blogtalkradio.com and the Universal Truth Evolution late night show. So, pardon me while I get into position. We're having a special arrangement here tonight where we have some live music provided by part of my band, Apathy, with our guest musician here, Alex. And Alex will maybe be chiming in tonight because we're going to have a good discussion tonight about a bunch of different topics. So, Alex, want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Alex, and guitarist of Apathy. I'm just here to have some fun tonight.
That's great, Alex, because there's quite a few things that we have to talk about today. And a lot of what's going on today in the world can be very confusing. Just like setting things up for a live show. But either way, there's a lot of stuff going on. We are hoping to have, I'm pretty sure we'll have Aaron McCollum here. We've been talking about a lot of things that's been going on in the world of the truth movement, shall we say. Because, as we all know, there's a lot of discrepancy in what a lot of people say about any given topic, about any given situation, at any given time, whenever the hell they damn well please. So, which is cool. It's all about expression, right? But at the same time, it's like, you know, when we're playing, we're in this game, this proverbial game, for our lives, in a sense. You know, we don't have no time for bullshit. And honestly, I really see a lot of bullshit out there. And it's not even necessarily, it's like people mean any harm by it. They genuinely think they're right or they're doing good, which is fine. We have to follow what we believe. But we also have to use discernment in how we disseminate information. Now, I'm learning this, shall we say, every day, especially doing this show. You know, a lot of people listen to what's going on here, you know, and the people we bring on, And so I've learned myself I have to, make sure I verify things and make sure I'm specific about, hey, this is my opinion. I can't back this up versus, hey, this is what's going on. And I think that there's a lot of people in this whole truth movement who have that confused, which is understandable in a lot of ways, especially as we're starting to understand who we are as being psychic beings. Now, that word is charged for a lot of people, but you're going to have to get over it because it really means about employing your own psychic devices of perception to apply whichever way you feel. So in a sense, like as long as you're not using your hands or your ears or your eyes directly and only for that, you're kind of using a psychic sense. But that bridges off into a whole bunch of other things. But in this situation, people are trying to tune into the collective consciousness. And so when we start doing that, we can get scattered. And that's where things like remote influencing comes in. That's not a subject that's not, I'm sure a lot of people who are familiar with the show are used to or have heard before, which has to do with the application of not just remote viewing, of kind of finding an objective or a target psychically, but this has to do with actually influencing that target. So like such as things of influencing a leader to make a bad decision or trying to encourage a disease or sickness. These are applications of remote influencing. There's a whole bunch. It's like that's a whole show in itself of that, everything about that. We're going to touch upon some of the effects of this because this really actually even gets into things like the programming that's broadcasted over everything in the media of all kinds, and not all of it's bad, but it's the slant, it's the spin, and that's really where the disinfo lies, which is one of the themes of the show, as most of you who have seen the link online know. And it's about how to understand where's the truth. And, a simple answer of that is really to cross-correlate. Cross-correlate with as many different sources as possible. There's been a lot of stuff in the alternative news media that just isn't cross-correlated with a damn thing. And even when it is, it's only explains a small portion, which then is spun to try to encompass the whole. So all of a sudden, the missiles are trying to knock down the Pleiadians, or all these animals are dying from mustard gas. No, we can't say that. You can't. There's not enough data. There's not enough data on that. The missile thing, that's a little different. We actually do have some data on that. As most of you in here know, I'm sure, that Aaron McCollum, our very good buddy, who I'm sure will be calling in at some point, pointed out that in the missile situation, that was broadcasted over all the maritime channels to inform the different mariners that there was going to be a missile test about that time in that area of California. So, wow, who would have thought there was a missile flying out of that area of California when they told us it was? Pleiadians, though? I mean, come on now. Come on. I mean, let's just now here's where we employ the discernment part of logic. Okay, if you have a superliminal craft, meaning you can go, or close to it, you can go almost 280,000 miles per second. Or even, let's say you can go 50,000 miles per second, so 100, something like that. Okay, a missile is a stationary target to that. Okay, let alone, what do they know? Oh, the Pleiadians are going to be sitting over the Pacific Ocean at this time, and we're going to shoot at them. So watch out, everyone. Okay, you might get shot, you might get hurt. We're trying to shoot down the Pleiadians with our bow and arrow. Yeah, you can't have the Pleiadians. Thank you, Alex. I mean, come on. It's like, seriously. It's just not going to happen. And see, this is the cool thing, because I can't wait to hear our good friend and colleague, Chocolate Crunch, Big A, Aaron McCollum, who's now alive with us at the Universal Truth Evolution. How's it going, Aaron?
Oh, it's been an interesting day, Jerry.
I bet.
Yeah. And I'm pretty freaking fired up about some shit.
Hell yeah.
That has been taking place. And I hope that you put this in as mature audiences only, because some people that are going to listen may hear an Aaron McCollum that they've never heard of before, because this garbage, this crap, this disinformation, this just go down to your fucking basement, grab
Right.
your 20-sided dice, and play your Dungeons and Dragons, but don't report it as information. I am insulted, I am aggravated, and I'm at the point now where I'm waging war against these people. And I'm telling you, this is not a statement of arrogance. This is a statement of fact. They've messed with the wrong person, and now they're gonna receive hell from me, especially after what took place this weekend with two separate things, which you, Jerry, are familiar with because I include you with certain updates that aren't necessarily ready to be released publicly, so you're aware of these things that have taken place. Yesterday, actually the day before and today, something took place on Friday and something took place today. So I don't know where you want me to start with first because I'm laying the cards on the table. This is Aaron in the Raw. And frankly, I don't care who I piss off because sometimes you've got to break the whole carton of fucking eggs in order to make the right omelet, and I'm going to be smashing all kinds of eggs.
You damn Skippy, man. It's like we need to make ourselves a big, fat, tasty motherfucking omelet. So as far as like the censorship issue, there is no issue. So rock the fuck on, Aaron, and anyone who has a problem with it needs to get the fuck over it because there's no such thing as bad words. That's an illusion. Get the fuck over it. So we're going to rock the fuck on, express ourselves the way we feel freely because that's what we have to do. And we understand that, hey, neither you, Aaron McCollum, or me, Jerry Avalos, have all the answers. We don't claim to, but some people seem to do that. So
I just posted, excuse me, I just posted a new newsletter today on the Truth Survival, and I even state somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where, that I express that I don't have all the answers. I just do my very best to get out as much absolute, undeniable evidence as possible, and then try to provide some solutions to that on whatever that may be. Mm-hmm. But for someone to have the audacity to first say that they have a background in this kind of profession, then they say that they have a background in another kind of profession, and then to have the gall to basically claim that they're a physicist is just unreal. Now, excuse me, let me take a drink here real quick.
Yeah, go for it, Aaron. There's
okay. So I don't have a whole lot of time tonight, as we discussed before, so that's why I called in early, because I wanted to get out this information quickly.
Yeah, by all means.
For maybe some of the listeners are aware, there was a show that received a lot of controversy. I called in on. The call was not impromptu. It was planned. The host knew about it. And so I called into Go Knob Blog Talk Radio with host Aaron Wilson.
I'm posting the link for everyone, too, just so you
know. The person that was the guest was a one Colleen Thomas. Now, there were people in the chat room that said that I was attacking her and I was being rude. I don't recall at all ever attacking her. In fact, there were a couple times when I actually complimented her. So I invite everyone to listen to that. And if there's anybody listening or listening to this show tonight that thinks that I were attacking her, get the fuck over it. Tough shit. I wasn't attacking her. Get over your little love and light namaste self, because I'm trying to do real fucking work here. And if you got a problem with it, move on. You don't have to listen to me. There's plenty of people out there that are talking that you can go and you can listen to. You don't have to listen to me. All I did, and this is very important, all I did was simply challenge her claims. I challenged her credibility, yes, and I posed questions to her that she simply could not answer. She lied. She backpedaled. She manipulated. She avoided answering questions. She redirected. She interrupted me. Even after the host asked me to talk, she would interrupt me, and then had the gall to say that I was interrupting her. And for example, when she had mentioned at the first of the show that the NSA had broken into her house, and I asked her if how does she know it's the NSA, she says, I never said it was the NSA. Let's go further. I said, which I have now posted publicly after getting permission from the real scientist, researcher who did the analysis of the water in Arkansas, then she has to throw in, I just got a report today. Well, I'm sorry, Colleen Thomas, but the Associated Press, Google, and Reuters are not my idea of intel sources. And saying that you have videos that you post on YouTube is not an intel source. Let me just say this very, very carefully. So let me backtrack. So we went on, and then she outrightly claimed or admitted to exaggerating purposely in order to get onto Russia Today, which, for those of you who don't know, Russia Today is a news network on YouTube. They have a website and so forth. And then she admits to the whole thing that at first I myself wasn't sure if it was true or not because I didn't have the evidence. And that was that she was basically selling her body. I'm not going to mince words. Selling her naked body. She admitted to it on air. It's all on record. It's all in my Aaron's Rant on my section in the Truth Survival website. This woman's a sham, okay? So I don't want to get too much into talking about that interview because it was like watching a train wreck over and over again. And Colleen Thomas, as I said, is like a blind man in a dark room looking for a black cat that isn't even there. Now, am I attacking her now? People could perceive that as that way, and that's fine because, Jerry, you gave me permission prior to the show to basically be uncut and unabridged. So maybe I'm blowing off some steam, but you know what? Aaron McCollum has a right as a human being to blow off some steam now and then. And so here we go. So on the 21st, from a good friend of mine, via the internet, I guess you could say, I don't know how to really explain that, a lady who's been a loyal supporter and listener of the Universal Truth Evolution since the beginning and still is, she sent me a link saying something effective. I guess she didn't get it. Guess who was on Russia Today on Friday, 2 days after that show?
Who, Aaron?
It was Colleen Thomas.
No.
Giving an update about the phosgene gas, the mustard gas, and other things. And then basically said that she is a physicist. So she's a nurse. She has a bachelor's in medical science. No, she's a realtor. Oh, wait a minute, she's a physicist. I would like her to provide to everybody some kind of diploma or certificate stating that she's a physicist. Let me tell you something. Colleen's not a physicist. That water analysis report that I received from a real researcher who took real samples and got a real chemical breakdown and then stated, and if you haven't read it, Jerry, you should, stated that this person's professional opinion based on knowing the chemical compounds of mustard and phosgene gas, that there was no, at least, that there was no mustard or phosgene gas on even a parts per billion. Let me say that again.
Please.
A parts per billion scale in any of the water or soil samples taken.
Yeah.
So what does this leave us to? So I like to cross-check. So what did I do? I sent that same water analysis report to a good friend of mine, let me say that again, Dr. John Waterman, who looked at it and said, Aaron, this is your ace in the hole.
That's a net, baby.
That's two doctors. Colleen, I don't know where you get your evidence from, but let me tell you, in case Colleen Thomas isn't aware of, the Rockefellers own Reuters and Associated Press. Who else uses them always and blabs about them as his information source? Oh, that's right, Alex Jones. Well, we're not going to get into Alex Jones tonight. But so here's what happened. So let's talk about this. So we just discussed the problem, and I don't want this to be a whole problem thing because I don't have much time tonight. So the problem is that Colleen Thomas states again this just 5 minutes of blah, 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 blah crap on Russia Today. I lost it. I you know what? I'm not perfect. I have my moments where Bad Aaron comes out. And Bad Aaron came out.
Bad Aaron.
Here's what Bad Aaron did. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready, dude.
I'm going to read something for everybody.
Please.
This is an official letter, and that was sent out to the press office, the production office, and the main media office for Russia Today US, which is what the video was posted on. And here's what I wrote. To whom it may concern, my name is Aaron McCollum, and I have some very urgent information that I feel whomever reads this needs to be aware of. I will say this and can prove what I am about to share with you with absolute documentation. I served in above top secret special operations for the United States military for over 10 years. The rest of my experiences are not relevant now. For the past 2 years, I worked tirelessly to expose what goes on within the governments around the world, specifically the United States. I have gathered with assistance of a network I have set up to archive thousands of Freedom of Information Act and still officially unreleased documents covering a wide range of special projects. My network consists of men and women, both inside and outside of the government, military, private research institutions, and the military-industrial complex. Now that you have a bit of understanding who I am, let me start by saying after hearing an RT News report concerning the missile launch off of the southern coast of California, I was curious as to the person being interviewed claiming to be a whistleblower, an alien contactee. That person I'm referring to is Colleen Thomas. Now, after hearing the report, I contacted one of my sources I used to work with, and he presented me with 2 official documents by the National Ocean Service, which is endorsed and known by the Department of Defense, U.S. Navy, U.S. Coast Guard, and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. In these 2 documents, it clearly states that all departments I mentioned were very aware of the missile launched. It was planned and broadcasted. I will include the documents in this email. I went on multiple radio shows and posted it on my website, clearly stating this fact and why as well as trying to fix the disinformation Colleen Thomas was spreading. There is a lot more to this. Now, after a radio show she was on not more than 2 days ago where I called in, and I posted the link directly to Aaron Wilson's radio show on this with Colleen Thomas and I challenged her claims, and if you listen, you will hear clearly she is not who she claims. The broadcast I heard today was again of Colleen Thomas making yet more false claims. I have done serious and credible research on these massive animal deaths and have documentation to prove it. I will provide everything in this letter. It is not phosgene or mustard gas as she has claimed. Colleen claims to have, quote, become psychic only last year and has done nothing but spread lies. Now, you may wonder how I can prove this. I can prove all I am sharing with you with some solid evidence, which I will include in this email. If there is interest in what I have shared, I can include more evidence other than what I have included here. It is a lot to explain, so if you so choose to contact me, I will include my contact information. I very much enjoy Russia Today and watch the YouTube videos almost daily. This is why I felt a strong urgency to notify RT of this serious issue. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I do hope to receive a response. Aaron McCollum.
Well said, Aaron.
So we'll see. We'll see if Russia Today contacts me. Listen, I put in all the documents. I put in the documents for the Notes to Mariners. I put in my water analysis report. I put everything in there. If they get Colleen Thomas on the show and all she says is that she's got information from her unicorn CIA agents and her magical rainbow Pleiadian star trap, then I'm guessing that me having verifiable, undeniable documentation will allow me perhaps some space on Russia Today so they can hear my side of things, which are the real side of things, which is the real evidence, the hard work. Because I'm not putting it all on me. It is myself and a large network of amazing people that I work with. It is a combined effort of thousands of hours that we put into this. So I am insulted now by calling Thomas. So let's wait and see what happens with that. Let's just wait and see what happens with that. So calling Thomas thing, done. Next item. You're going to love this. You're going to fucking love this. Jerry, you're already aware of this, but here we go, folks. Here's the next thing. This one has me even more fired up. So you'll have to explain me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ignite that shit. Explode, baby.
So here we go. So I have my documents from the Forbidden Vault on a file for share website. In the entire time I've had that, I've never had one complaint. I've never had one issue. I have had no problems with my forshare.com account at all. Nothing. But, of course, with the help of Ed Chavez, he created an amazing torrents of all of that, which have been spread widely. So I want to thank Ed for all the hard work he did with that.
Hell yeah.
And as far as I know, I don't believe Ed has had any problems on his side. If he has, I'm sure he'd let me know or, let someone know. But to set things up a bit, I have a Hotmail account, okay? Now, Hotmail account also has a feature which is, Windows Live. And within Windows Live, they have a feature where you can share documents in the Office section, which is ran by their program known as SkyDrive. It's the SkyDrive account. It's included in the total package when you sign up for free Windows Live. Now, I don't just have the basic package. I cost up to $20 for the year subscription, so I could just do a little bit more. So I put the entire Forbidden Vault into my SkyDrive account, which Tamara was so nice to link up on the recommended sites on Truth Survival. But guess what, folks? If you click on that now, you'll see nothing. Now, I tried clicking on it to update it, and it said that my account was shut down. So I'm wondering why. I never received an email notification. I didn't receive any kind of warnings for anything. I received nothing. I took a screenshot of the only thing that I saw, which I saved. Then I submit a trouble ticket is what I did. I submitted a trouble ticket to the Microsoft customer support. Oh, give me a second to take a breath.
Oh, yeah.
Because what I'm about to read you, and I read my wife, I read it to Meredith. I think Meredith is more pissed than I am, quite frankly, which is not good. People don't want to piss off Meredith because she'd be like a bobcat in a burlap bag. You don't want to put your hand in it.
Hell yeah. Here you're there.
So here we go. And yes, someone in the chat room just said SkyDrive Microsoft. Yeah, it's SkyDrive Microsoft. And yes, thanks to another friend of mine, Intel Source, Roma. She's my common purpose Intel gatherer ninja in the UK. Brought to my attention that the heads of Microsoft are Bilderbergers, which was a great reminder. So, yeah. But nevertheless, I don't want to get straight. So let me read this, what I got. Hello, Aaron. Thank you for writing to Windows Live SkyDrive. We understand that you were having issues accessing your Windows Live SkyDrive account. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused you. We have found your account to be in violation of the Windows Live SkyDrive Code of Conduct, as it contains images involving sexual act. As this violation is serious in nature, we were forced to close it down. Violations include, but are not limited to, nudity, partial nudity, pornography, harassment, and illegal or offensive behavior. We also restrict our users from posting full or partial nude pictures of babies and children. This policy has been implemented in order to reduce the risks of predators in the online community and, of course, to ensure the safety of the children. Also, if your SkyDrive account is hang on, Jerry. Also, if your SkyDrive account is disabled, you will not be able to access your Windows Live profile in Windows Live Spaces. We encourage you to review the Windows Live SkyDrive Code of Conduct by visiting explore.live.com/code of conduct. Thank you for using Windows Live SkyDrive. Sincerely, Mac Support Specialist, Windows Live Team. Now, Jerry, hang on. Let me read you my reply.
Please.
Which they did receive, and I'm waiting to hear back.
Oh, yes, I can't wait.
And by the way, I forwarded this reply to Dr. John Waterman of the Waterman Files, to Carrie Cassie of Project Camelot, to Kevin Smith at the Kevin Smith Show, to Alfred Weber of Exopolitics, to Robert Morningstar of UFO Digest. And that's just the beginning.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, I'm just getting started, my friend. Here we go.
That's awesome.
Here's my reply. This is nothing less than an outrage, and I'm offended by this accusation. I have never, nor would I ever post offensive pornographic images on SkyDrive or anywhere for that matter. What I had cataloged in the office portion under the documents section using SkyDrive were pictures from the destruction of the World Trade Center Building 7 and the Twin Towers on September 11, 2001. I had various other images that were of planes, equipment, and other various ones that were of projects the government is involved in, and none were pornographic or offensive. 99% of what was included in my document section were documents. How is that offensive? If I did what you are falsely accusing me of, then I demand you provide the proof. Otherwise, I will go to the press and various major web-based media sources I am closely connected with, and I will make sure it is known that Microsoft Windows Live SkyDrive doesn't practice First Amendment rights. This must be corrected immediately, and I will be expecting an official apology. I will give Windows customer support 2 business days to correct this before I go to the media. Aaron McCollum.
Hell yeah. That's good. You damn Skippy Chocolate Crunch. That's good. That's good work there.
I have never, Jerry, you know me. How many times have I gone on rants of my disgust with Hollywood, the porn industry, my distaste for it, everything?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I can.
And what Ed Chavez, because Ed Chavez did all the hard work. I sent him, he downloaded everything off of the Forbidden Vault and the Forbidden Library. So Ed, just when was the last time you recall seeing a pornographic picture in the Forbidden Library, for anyone else for that matter? Because everything that I posted in the Forbidden Library, I posted on that Microsoft. So I'm going after Microsoft now. I am going to go after them, and I am going to unleash hell. The disinformation of Colleen Thomas needs to stop. Russia today needs to be aware of this. Microsoft, I don't know if this was some kind of character assassination attempt or something, but Robert Morningstar brought up a very good point. He said, Aaron, there's a chance that someone, quote, someone may have gotten to my account and planted pictures that I was not aware of, and then reported it to do. This does happen. What does the elite and the government do when they want to discredit someone speaking the truth? They always use the sex angle. He's a pedophile. He's a the fact that they accuse me of being some kind of sexual deviant, I'm going to burn them to the fucking ground. You can quote me on that.
Oh, man. It's kind of funny because, it's not funny what happened to you, but it's just kind of like, it's business as usual, unfortunately, as we know, Microsoft. And actually our good friend Alex here works in the IT industry. And once again, we have a disgruntled Microsoft user, which they're just totally fucking. So it's kind of, it's like they're good at, Aaron. They're good at just like giving you crappy ass customer service. So it's like, they're like, It's gonna be funny because I think we've both seen people try to take on Microsoft, and it's just like I don't know, man. They're obviously
I know that Thomas Don in the chat room said, Aaron, they do not care if you go after them. They have millions of dollars and lawyers up the ass. Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Lawyers. Being a ass.
Thomas, they will not bury me. They will not. They will not bury me. Listen, I don't know if this customer service guy is completely aware of the connections I have. And you know what? I know that I won't be able to single-handedly take down Microsoft. I'm a realist. I know that. However, if I can bring this to the attention of as many people as possible, then at least people will be aware of it. And perhaps that will if I'm able to get at least a little minor uproar, then I will be satisfied with that.
Oh, yeah.
If I can, use this as a learning tool to continue to plant the seed in people to say, wake up, people, wake up, then that's good. All they're doing is giving me ammunition, and I've got plenty of guns, and I will fire them back. So it's just an outrage. It's like, here I am going, okay, I've done the work. I'm ready to enjoy the weekend. I got some furniture to put together. I've got a garden to take care of. I've got some other stuff around the place to do. I'm going to have a really great, kick-ass, comfortable weekend. And bam, I see Colleen Thomas, 2 days. 2 days. She couldn't last 2 days. She couldn't take 2 days to maybe sit back and go, maybe I should rethink, I don't know, everything that I'm doing wrong.
No, dude.
No. But here's the thing that, and then I calmed down, and again, Meredith brought up, helped me realize some things that I have to consider. So let's be fair for a moment.
Let's.
Perhaps, just perhaps, that video that was posted on Russia Today USA YouTube site had been filmed prior to the interview on the 19th. I don't know, because you only know the upload date. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It could have been pre-recorded, edited, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, the fact that it's up is wrong. And I'm going to go after them. I'm going to go after Microsoft. I'm going to do my part in bringing some awareness to Russia Today and to all of their listeners, because they have a lot. And that's the fact that, and I was talking to Laura Eisenhower about this. Look, I take it personally. You know, Jerry, that I don't like labels. Yes, I'm labeled as a whistleblower. Some people label me as a truth seeker, truth exposer, light worker, whatever.
Or chocolate crunch.
I'm just a guy that used to be on the bad side of things that's now doing everything I can to make things right. And I am tired of sweeping up after Colleen Thomas's lets just the proverbial shit fall out of her mouth. I'm tired of picking up.
That's a big one.
I'm tired of picking it up. She's making more work for me. And no, this is not a personal vendetta, but when you're in the light, when you wind up on mainstream media, you have an obligation to bring out as much absolute, undeniable proof as possible. Now, let me be fair for a second. There are a lot of things that take place on this planet every day that, frankly, at this moment in time, we have a difficulty of presenting the evidence. People that are unfortunate victims of military abductions, people that have real contact experience with off-planet beings, and more so. There are things that I have said in the past that I don't have the evidence to provide, and I have stated that. And, and I accept that. But, as you know, Jerry, and a lot of the listeners, I have done my damnedest to get out the absolute truth as much as I can. So the fact that she tells everyone that she is a whistleblower is an insult to me. It's an insult to Dr. Brooks Agnew, Dr. Bill Deagle, Laura Eisenhower, Andrew Basiago, Bob Dean, Dave Corso, and many more. It's an insult. So this is me, Aaron McCollum in the Raw, defending my fellow friends and colleagues. And if that makes me a bad guy, then you know what? Then I guess Aaron McCollum is the bad guy within the whistleblower truth movement. And if that's the label I get for defending it tooth and nail, fine. People have a problem with it? They don't have to listen to me. They can go on somewhere else. I don't care. You know, I really admire the work of the late Bill Cooper, because he was fearless. He said what needed to be said, and if people didn't like it, he didn't care. He didn't do it for. Bill Cooper was not out for a popularity contest. Bill Cooper was out to get the information, and he died because of it. I know if Bill Cooper was alive today, or if we were able to talk to him in the astral, he would say, Bill Cooper today, I never knew him, but I'm guessing that Bill Cooper would say, I don't consider myself a martyr. I don't think Bill Cooper would consider himself that today.
No.
He would just consider himself someone that they finally got to, and unfortunately. So, you know, he was a great man. He was a true patriot. So, and I'm not comparing myself to Bill Cooper. I could never compare myself to Bill Cooper. But he is a hero to me. I look up to the late, great Bill Cooper. And, God, if Bill was alive today and he heard this stuff that Colleen Thomas was saying, holy crap. Imagine that episode of his radio show, right? Where was I getting at? I'm kind of all over the board right now because of this whole Microsoft thing and then of course too, you know, I was already in this short amount of time since I first exposed what happened with my interaction between certain people involved with the Festival of Enlightenment. A lot of people have steered away from me. A lot of people in the truth movement did steer away from me because they were like, how could you viciously attack the Festival of Enlightenment? That's such a great... Well, let me just say this. I may lose more people that follow my work after what I'm about to say, but they need to hear this. Listen, I have no problem with people that want to project energy with using the law of attraction, the universal law. But you know what? The universal law of attraction only carries you so far. You can only sit in the lotus position with your pointer fingers, your thumb fingers, oming and wishing love and light and namaste to everyone so far until you need to do something physical. The law of attraction does not work as the way that it was expressed in The Secret. It's certainly not the way they expressed with the Festival of Enlightenment. There are two major steps to the law of attraction. One, imagine, focus on what you want, okay? And then practice and do something positive in your life every day. Move forward towards that objective. Because if you don't physically put out any effort or energy in a physical plane, it won't happen. Just sit around in the lotus position, wishing love and light, is going to get you nowhere but into a fucking FEMA camp. Okay? There is a split now within the truth movement. There are and I'm going to say this, I'm sorry if this offends people, there are the nutty namaste, love and light people that are afraid of the kinds of things I'm saying because they're kind of doing the hands over the ears and going, no, I can't hear you. There's nothing bad. I'm going to be rescued by aliens and everything's going to be okay. Blah, 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 I can't hear you. And then there are the people. And then there are the people who truly are trying to do something, whether it's doing a radio show, like having the Universal Truth Evolution with you and the rest of the team, or having a blog, or going out and passing out flyers, having the grassroots, the real getting. You got to get your hands dirty. If you don't get your hands dirty, I'm not going to sit out in my backyard in the lotus position with a crystal on my forehead, wishing that aliens will come by, drop seeds, water them, and I'm going to get freaking plants. No. I'm going to say, which Meredith and I did, and amazingly, our seeds have already germinated like 4 times faster than they're supposed to, because we focused on our intent of having good seed soil. We did all the right steps. We got the right soil. We did all the right steps, the water, everything, and bam, in like, I don't know, a day or 2 days, they're already incredibly growing at a rate. So I'm sorry, folks, but these new age hippies are doing nothing but a detrimental service. They are service to themselves, not of others. Listen, I know people in the chat room that are listening to this know this. Just ask yourself, how many people that you know that are all these new age, hippie, namaste, love and light people, how many of them do you know do anything active to help others? Just ask that question. I'll tell you something. A lot of people that I know that I've since recently had to tell them that I cannot hold space for them. They're expecting to just be rescued. They're going to just sit in their laurels. They don't want to do anything active, and I have no room for that. I have no patience. I have no time for that. You have to have, as someone said in the chat room, you have to have balance. Balance is the key. You got to get your hands dirty, and you can also project what you want. You do both those things, good things will happen. I guarantee it. If you do one without the other, you're screwed. And I'm sorry that this may offend people, but you know what? People need to hear this, okay? And that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, man, it's well said, because it's people don't realize that yes, that we're coming into the the awareness of using our psychic abilities to manifest things, but it's about synchronizing, which is that balance that you're talking about. So you have to get out and plant the seeds if you want the crops. Yeah, you can't just kind of hope to meditate for the bird to carry it on its wing and that you will have bountiful carrots. It doesn't necessarily work that fucking way. And if it does, it's like, well, you just got gifted with that. Do it again. You know what I mean?
And let me just add this too. Here shows the character of an individual. Colleen Thomas is going back on Go Knob Radio in a few days. And I don't know if it was by her request, but that show, they are not accepting any callers. And I can only guess why. Because she wants to hear herself blab for 2 hours and no one can interrupt her. So that her godlike complex, what is it? She's the youngest of the 24 archangels. So be careful, folks, because you're talking to an angel, and that angel is calling Thomas. So she might smite you with lightning.
Not the lightning.
Okay, hang on. We're going to wait. I'm smiting calling Thomas. Wait for it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, fuck, no lightning. I guess she's full of shit.
Maybe. If the lightning's in the wood and no one hears it, did it lightning at all? Anyway, don't worry about it. I'm just being goofy. So, yeah, man, I hear you. So, because, yeah, dude, I know, honestly, like, I've only had so much exposure to Colleen, and it's interesting because, I think she is confused.
Well, yeah, and, this is why. And again, let me actually switch roles here, and let me be defensive for Colleen Thomas for a second. I'm going to switch roles here for a second. I had brought up some things to Colleen Thomas in a very nice way, simply suggesting that she looks into things like the way HARP can be induced for mind control and remote influencing. I am still very willingly open to consider, because of people I found out that she has interaction with, and we don't need to get into that now. I'm open to consider that perhaps she's under some kind of mind control, some kind of remote influencing. And if she is, I am sorry for her. And if we find out that she is, I will even help her break that through the network that I have. I have no problem. Listen, everyone makes mistakes. For almost 30 years, I was a monster. I killed. I stole. I did unspeakable acts that sometimes I wake up with nightmares still to this day. I have to live with my demons, and I accept that. Perhaps right now, Colleen Thomas is dealing with demons that she's not aware of. And if she is, that's very unfortunate. Does she deserve a chance to rectify this? Absolutely. But she's not. And if I have to go after the information she's saying this way, then that's what I have to do. I have tried every other method with Colleen Thomas. I really have. I know that, but a lot of it was private, under the radar stuff with other contacts I have. I really did try, but it wasn't working. And so now I have to take the more direct approach. I really did try to reason with her. The same way I tried to open a line of communication with the organizers of the Festival of Enlightenment. I tried to have a decent conversation with them. They ignored my requests. Okay? I tried to have an open conversation with Marcus, the gentleman in question who had made the claims that he was part of the planning committee. He denied, ignored, and avoided every request I had. And I sent very nice, very respectful emails to both parties. Not contacting me gives me reasonable justification to take the next step. And so that's what has to take place. So again, like I'm going to say, if I am now being labeled as the monster within, like the Eternal Affairs version of the whistleblower community, fine. But I'll tell you one thing. I am proud of the hard work that I've put in with the help of many others. I'm proud to be able to call such people as Dr. Bill Deagle, Jordan Maxwell, Miriam Delicato, Tina and Tilda from A Book of Insight, Cynthia Crawford, and many, many more that are very well known as friends, colleagues, whatever you want to call them, people that I can call up, that I get advice from, very, very good advice. And I have those sources. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm just trying to do the best I can. That's all. So it's an insult to see these things taking place, because we are reaching we're reaching a point now where we need to hold together, because if we don't, we are fucked. Okay? We need to hold together. And people like her, Festival of Enlightenment, and all these other elitist type websites that are popping up are a severe problem. We need to stay strong. And the fact that Microsoft is accusing me of posting pornographic pictures is an outrage, and I will go after them, even if I am able to get one other person to either contact Microsoft SkyDrive or to post something on a blog. And yes, I will be putting a report about this on the Truth Survival. I'm waiting to give Microsoft a chance to reply to me. They have until Wednesday. I'm giving them 2 business days. I'm going to give Russia Today a chance to contact me. I'm giving them a week because I understand that they're very, very busy. And Common Purpose is my new other target, thanks to my wonderful friend Roma in the UK, who's written 2 amazing reports that I posted and gave her credit to on the Truth Survival. And there's another thing coming up around the bend. I don't want to give it away yet, but there's another individual who's been spouting off some really terrible things as of late. And I'm tired of this person's approach to things. I'm not going to say anything now, but I'm going to be picking up where someone left off, and I'm going to be going after a certain individual who's very, very well known, who is wreaking havoc within the truth movement. And stay tuned, because this is one that's going to be big.
That's very intriguing news there, Aaron.
Well, you hear it here first. I wanted to blow that one on the Universal Truth Evolution, because there's always going to be a special place in my heart for what the Universal Truth Evolution became with the help of the great team that I worked with.
Yeah, we here at UTE try our best, and obviously, you're the one who planted the seed for all of this. So.
Well, it was, yes. I mean, the initial idea was my idea, but I couldn't have done it without Tamara. I couldn't have done it without the entire team. Chris Honeyfield, who Thomas Don, even my other friend, who I guess not working with the guys, Justin Brennan. Mm-hmm. You and Ben Murphy were a lot of help with, in different ways, and everyone else that supported. So I could have done it without everyone else, and it was, I really appreciate that, and you guys are rocking. I saw your lineup of speakers, and you guys are kicking ass. So kudos to you.
Well, thanks.
And I want to say again, I got to say this. I want to really thank Tamara for all the hard work she did for making the Truth Survival. Between her and Meredith, I was kind of pushed up against that cliff and decided to do it, and it's been really a big help.
Yeah, definitely. Tamara is definitely good at what she does, and you and Meredith make an outstanding team. I must say, you create a very good dynamic duo there. So
I'm telling you, there's nothing like having that divine feminine energy in your life, and she is the most amazing woman. She doesn't take my shit, which I love. She doesn't mince words. She's a great source. Her research is amazing. Her knowledge is amazing. Every article, every report, with the exception of Roma's, every report I've done has been proofread, edited, and tweaked a bit by Meredith. So I don't consider them my reports. They're reports from her and I. And we've just been talking about some other ideas in the past couple of days that are freaking fantastic. So get ready. The Truth Survival is going to be evolving even more with the work between my wife and I. And I just heard someone else. I think someone's on the forum there.
We do actually have a caller from our chat.
That voice sounds familiar. I'm guessing that is Amy, who called in and gave calling Thomas what for in the name of women.
Oh my God, am I online now?
Yes, you are. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, this is Amy, quote unquote. I just have to say, Aaron, that it's an honor to be a part of your truth that you're bringing forward, because it is truth. It's not anything but factual information that's backed by documents, or at least as much proof as you can provide. And that's all that I personally have been involved in. Yesterday and the day before, I've literally spent my entire day, and I know that sounds like kind of a loser thing to do, but I just was there in front of my computer all day long trying to find, factual documents and things. And I'll tell you what, if you put in the hours, you do come up with some truth. So I just want to say, apparently this morning there was a recap, and I was told by another Facebook friend to go listen to Colleen's ranting about our conversation that we had the other day. And she called me a right-wing Christian fanatic of some kind.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was pretty awesome, considering that's not at all true in the slightest.
It's quite an intellectual argument, I might add, too, obviously.
Colleen Thomas said what now again?
Well, she called Amy, myself, a right-wing Christian fanatic.
Oh, really?
And the reason, and I'm catching flack that people are considering, the fact that you and myself, for instance, have been questioning her, and that's considered judgment. And so people really want to jump on the fact that, I'm judging her. And that's absolutely not what I'm doing. And I kind of mentioned it on the show, but see, for me, I'm a woman that has been brought up in a good family where we were taught integrity and virtuous living and what that means and the responsibility. And I questioned her integrity as soon as I saw what she had done and that men were saying how hot she was and that there was pictures out. So any question that what she's doing is true or saying is true, to me, it was absolutely exploiting her. And I spoke to Laura Eisenhower via, chatting, and we both feel very strongly that this is not divine feminine energy, if you want to, put it in that terms. And it is a disgrace.
The thing is, too, is that I want people to understand that it's not just me who's talking about this publicly, this information that she's bringing out. My good friend, let me just say this, Amy, my wife Meredith, who had listened in on you just giving it to Colleen Thomas, she absolutely loved what she said, because she was going to call in, but some other things had occurred, and Colleen Thomas would not have known. She would have been.
That would have been funny.
Afterwards, my wife had gotten on the phone, but.
I would
pay just to hear that. I would pay.
Just wanted me to let you know that she was really happy and really loved what you had to say. Let me go back.
Good. I'll tell you real quick. When I've listened to Colleen, my body literally just starts shaking, and I've been trying to figure out what is it. I'm literally quake because I feel like it's more than just a BS meter. It's like my source of who I am just cannot listen to her, and I know within my bones that she is not sharing truth, and it's like the most bizarre sensation that just comes over me, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? She just is such a bold face. I mean, she's just telling so many mistruths.
Let me just say this real quick to guest 4712 in the chat room. I don't know if you've been listening to the whole show. I don't know if you listened to the Colleen Thomas show that was on Go Knob Radio. But I'm going to tell you right now, guest 4712, you don't have all the facts. You're not seeing everything clear. If you think this is an awful attack show and I have awful energy, let me tell you something, guest 4712, tough shit. You don't have to listen to the show. If you don't want to paint the whole picture, get the fuck out because we don't have room or time for you.
And really, this show is about people being able to express what they feel is their truth. And so it's kind of just like Colleen had her chance to do that on the Go Knob show. Aaron is now doing this, and she's putting out disinformation. It's like that's just been proven. That has nothing to do with any bias.
And Jerry, I don't have much more time, so let me just say this. It's not just me speaking about this publicly. Jeff Rentz had Jim Mars on his show not too long ago. They discussed this issue with Colleen Thomas. Dr. Bill Deagle had another guest on his show. They were talking about the same situation. So you've got Jim Mars, Jeff Rentz, Dr. Bill Deagle, and probably others who have publicly said that what she is claiming is absolute bullshit. So, look at that.
I just wanted to say quickly, today I found some links that are really amazing, that the USDA actually had planned all of this, similar to your maritime report, Aaron, and they actually call it Project Bye Bye Blackbird, and I found a PDF, an actual document, and there are mass animal euthanizations that I've posted on my Facebook that I shared with Tamara. So it's open. I'm open to sharing, and it's not about exposing Colleen Thomas. It's about truth-seeking. And to tell you the truth, I don't want to be fixed on Colleen Thomas. I don't either. Shed light and truth. I'm out for truth, and that's why I started researching in 2005.
Right.
And when I heard her come on news and was saying all these tag words, of course, everyone's alarm in their head went off. But then as soon as we saw the lack of integrity, it was like a big blow to all the truth seekers. So my only intent, and I want this to be on record, please, my only intent is to seek truth and light. Yes. And I want unity. I don't want dissension. And I'm really passionate about that because that is all I seek. That is all I want. And it's not about bashing her. For God's sakes, the woman needs to stop, and we can all unify. And I'm not a metaphysical, Om or guru person like you were saying earlier, but I do believe that if we stay in the heart and we discern, then we can move past this kind of stuff and we can unify. That's my one thing I wanted to say, and we appreciate you so much, Aaron. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Amy, and thank you for everything you do. And again, for those that are listening and they're in the chat room now that may not agree with what I'm saying, I'm sorry if you don't agree. That is your right. Free will is an amazing thing. If you think that I have bad energy, well, then you can just close the tab and move on to something else. Because if you want to live into your little imaginary world where Colleen Thomas is the end all of information, then all I can say to you is good luck. Fare thee well. Because I'm not going to hold space for you and I'm not going to give you any time. Someone in the chat room said that I can dish it out, but I can't take it. Listen, I have been in recent time, and this is no exaggeration, been probably one of the most controversial whistleblowers, if you want to label me that, in recent times with a lot of things I said. I understand that. I have received a lot of criticism. And I know within my heart that I've taken that criticism pretty damn well. I'm always open to people challenging what I've said. In fact, I encourage it because when you challenge someone, you actually gather more information within yourself. And information is power. Why do you think the global elite suppresses so much energy, such as free energy, cures for diseases, secret space program, underground bases? Those, they say that there's that old term, those who own the gold rule the world. That's not really that true. Those who own and suppress the information rule the world. We are in an information war. We are in a war for the truth. And I'm doing my best to fight that battle. So if you got a problem with me, you can contact me. UTE2011@hotmail.com. We'll talk, okay? And maybe you can see after we have a conversation. Let's see what your mind is at that point then. But it's I do and have taken a lot of criticism, and I think I handle it quite well. I'll tell you one thing: who doesn't take criticism very well, or even to be challenged very well? Colleen Thomas, and the proof is in the show that her and I were on just a few days ago. So look at that before you say that I can't dish out criticism, or that I can't take criticism.
Yeah, Aaron. Honestly, I think the actions you've demonstrated publicly, and I'm just talking about publicly concerning some of the things that have gone on. I think you really don't even have to justify yourself to anyone in the chat room because. Just even what's happened publicly, like even with the Duncan situation, which just kind of pacified. I mean, that's the point. It's pacified. It's not drama anymore. And so that in that sense, it's kind of like you're doing just fine, and it's just these other people's problem. And it's like you're saying, it's not you, Aaron, saying I hate Colleen. It's like, oh, hey, we're all saying Colleen, you're wrong, and you're on TV saying wrong stuff. So we're kind of doing the same thing that we're doing to Fox or MSNBC or Reuters, all this stuff like that. And it's not that we don't like you, but it's like we're saying we have to make sure we verify as much as we can what we can, and specifically state that I can't prove this when we say something.
And that's the thing too, Jerry. I am not attacking Colleen Thomas as in Colleen Thomas the person. I'm attacking the information. I'm challenging and attacking the information the way she's presenting it, and I'm trying to do. This is nothing more than casually control within the. I'm fixing leaky pipes within the truth movement. That's what I'm trying to do. And if anyone, again, if anyone thinks that I'm dwelling on this or whatever, I was under the impression. I guess I jumped the gun. I was under the impression that perhaps the outcome of the show where I challenged her information, that perhaps she would at least maybe sit back and think this over, but she didn't. So I had to, again, more casual control. So, Jerry, I really should get going, so I didn't know if there was any more final questions you had for me, because I've got a bunch of stuff that I need to do before the night's over.
Yeah, actually, the one thing I want to ask you is, so how are the banana chips?
Oh, yeah, the banana chips are good. He's referring to Meredith got a food dehydrator, because one of the things we're going to be doing is dehydrating and making our own meal ready to eat, our own MREs. And then also Meredith is going to be doing some instructional videos on canning, how to make your own MREs and such things as that, which will all be going on the Truth Survival website.
Sweet. That's cool. Yeah, because I think there's quite a lot said there, and like how we talked about, you're here to inform people of current events, and it's what you're doing on your blog, and how all of us are really keeping our eye out on the animal situation and as well as everything else. So it's like we have to address this just like we address any other kind of information in the media. So, and I think people just tend to jump on that. Oh, it's personal, but it's like no, there's a whole other thing going on here. So yeah, Aaron, thanks for calling and giving us your perspective and sharing new information today. So no, you're very, very busy. So.
Well, yeah, and thank you very much for giving me the time. Actually, I wasn't planning on being on the show this long, but you got me going with one of my rants, and I'm sure I probably pissed off some people listening. And if you're mad at me, then let me just say this real quick. For all those people who I have pissed off with my speaking out against the Festival of Enlightenment, other Illuminati-type false organizations, Colleen Thomas, Microsoft, and even Alex Jones, which I've challenged in the past. If you're angry with me, if you think that I have bad energy, if you don't agree with me, all of those types of feelings are all on the negative side of the spectrum of the emotional spectrum that I've talked about in detail, the emotional and the free will spectrums, which we could talk about another time on the show. So, if you don't like what I've said, if you're angry, if you have any kind of negative feelings towards me, that's fine. I understand that. I respect that. That is your free will. But just consider this. Take that negative energy that you have focused on me currently, and at some point, transform it and move it forward into something positive. It doesn't have to have anything to do with me, because it's essential that you don't dwell on that negativity. So in a way, I'm actually helping you. You may not realize it, but I'm actually helping you because you can learn from this. It's all about planting the seeds. So thank you for allowing me to give you the dark energy to work with. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, that's true, Aaron, because, and thank you for coming on, because I think that's what people don't understand, how we talked about earlier. It's the balance. So it's kind of like, there's no such thing as all white, all light, white and purity, and how you're saying namaste, whatever. Okay, and the same thing, it's like all bad doesn't necessarily exist either. It's all, there's this whole other amalgamation of everything that creates this reality that we have here. So, yeah, man, so you take the stuff that might be perceived as negative and we change it and we use it to create, and that's really what we're doing. You know, we're creating more awareness, you know. So, so yeah, so I understand now, obviously, you know, so we're talking, one of the reasons why we're talking. And so, yeah, it has to be said because we can't, you know, we can't just sit by because then we're as hypocrites, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, thank you again, Jerry. I need to get going. I've got some furniture to put together and some cleaning to do and enjoy some time with Meredith and Big Red. And on behalf of myself, Meredith, and Big Red, we wish you all the very, very best. Thank you very, very much for all the support. And keep tuning in to Universal Truth Evolution because it's a great platform. And if you're curious about what I've been doing, it's the website is www.truthsurvival.com. You can sign up for a free newsletter. I update it almost every day, and there's going to be continuing things growing. So thank you. And I'm going to sign off now, Jerry. So you take it easy, buddy, and I'll be in contact with you soon.
All right. Thanks again, Aaron, for calling in, and give your family there a big hug from our family here. So
you got it, buddy.
All right. Rock on, Big A. So there you have it, folks. There's a lot of information there. I'm sure this one's going to be looked at in the archives on YouTube quite a bit. So, as I said to Aaron, you know, shows like these are meant specifically for us to be able to express ourselves freely, hence all the fucking and the shit and all this other stuff. Because you know what? In this reality that we're sharing, communication goes beyond the boundaries of any given language, one language. And so there's a sentiment that binds us, and in a sense, every time we go like, fuck, we actually are being psychic because we're picking up on the frustration or that specific energy, not necessarily the meaning of the sound. And so that's kind of the same thing that goes on in these situations as well, because there's more to the words than what's being said. And sometimes there's almost too many words, you know, honestly, like in the sense of some of the stuff Colleen said. Because Aaron's right. And I've only talked to Colleen once, I think, or something, and I've seen her some of her news things, obviously. But she did contradict herself, you know. She contradicted herself on that interview with the Gonob with the other Aaron, and that should tell you something, because she did jump to conclusions. You know, she did, and then she goes and blares that as fact, and then she says, "No, I didn't say that." You know, maybe in her mind she thought she didn't say it, but unfortunately in the physical reality that we all share and are experiencing right now, you did, Colleen. Sorry. Listen to the radio. Listen to the archives. And so it was there. So whatever's going on there, get that straight. State it. This is my guess. This is what I feel. All these things like that. You know, when you can't prove it. Just like the phosgene and the mustard gas. You heard it today. Aaron has talked about these studies, and I'm sure he's going to supply everything that needs to be said about that. And I'm sure not only Aaron's sources are going to start doing this, but so are the other media sources. And I think that's, you know, one of the things that, like how he's saying with Alex Jones and Reuters and all that such. Okay, the way I like to use these major media outlets is kind of like saying, see, look, even stupid gets it. See, especially with Fox. I mean, you know, it's actually, I guess there's that study that really shows that if you listen to Fox News, it actually made you dumber and made you less informed. So, yeah, it's like, see, even stupid gets the fact that we shouldn't fluoridate our water. You know, those things are important to point out. The problem with people like Alex Jones is that it's the spin. Like I talked about in the beginning, right? It's that spin, it's that flavor. And that, in terms of Alex Jones, he talks too much of like, oh, they're going to get you this time, that's for sure. Oh, my God, FEMA camps, everyone's going to the FEMA camps. So, But you know what? They've been saying that shit for years. It's kind of like the last time I went off, right? How many doomsdays? How many FEMA roundups? It's like, yes, they do happen. And they tend to be obvious. Like in World War II. Okay? They grabbed the Japanese and they say, we are putting you in camps now, whether you like it or not. And see, at that time, they can get away with it because the racism, honestly, was obviously a lot worse then. There's a lot of racism now, but it's nowhere near the same as what it was, even 4 decades ago. So now everyone is more aware. We have Blog Talk Radio to freely express ourselves and hear more information, So we have that opportunity. So, I mean, what do you think the likelihood of them even pulling something off like that right now would be with Arab Americans? It's just not going to fly. Even though that would be like one of their targets because of the whole 9/11 charade. So, but because there's too many people aware. There's just too many people aware of this. And likewise, we're all getting tired of seeing rights being, whittled away. So we're not going to sit by. We're just not going to sit by and let it happen. So, and then there's so much that goes into doing stuff in the media, like Aaron and I were talking about. That's, and Aaron obviously understands that, doing the show before I got here to help out, and just being public in terms of doing interviews. You have to make sure you present yourself in a certain way, and that's not to live up to anyone's standards. It's not conformity. That has nothing to do with that. It actually is being more effective at communicating what you're trying to communicate. So it's really not about, like I said, conforming. It's really finding how you're going to communicate yourself and ideas. And so a lot of people don't necessarily have that. Like, honestly, I'll give my opinion on Colleen. It's like, honestly, I think Colleen thinks she's doing the right thing. I think she thinks she's doing the right thing. And that's why I feel Aaron is saying, and see how I said I feel? I didn't say I know. I feel Aaron is saying that she could be being remote influenced, which is plausible. I mean, it really is in this day and age because of all the things that go on into the mass programming. I mean, we had Stuart Swerdlow on talking about how that's broadcast in different ways. So, yeah, I mean, and everyone's susceptible. And you know what? They don't need a NSA agent. They don't need a Homeland Security agent sitting there moderating you specifically to do this. It's like an algorithm. So it's just a run code that's kind of being put out there, like how Stuart was talking about with the ELF transmissions on the vending machine. It's like, you are thirsty, you are thirsty, you are thirsty. So it's like, oh, I'm thirsty, huh? Let me go buy a Coke. So that's kind of how it works. Like, same thing. And that works in all other different contexts too. I'm sure they're aware of that. So, and I would guess, I'm guessing. See, here I'm saying I'm guessing. I don't say I know. I'm guessing that those kind of instructions lead into like odd killings and all these other things and just a lot of stuff, because it all works into the media, which plays off the archetypes, which plays off of all the preferences of society at right now, whatever it is, and all that conditioning. And right now, what are we in? We're in war. We've been in war for the longest time. It's there's a lot of firsts in these wars, and we really actually, if anything, we need to focus our effort on ending these wars. Because that really, we're talking about economics, we're talking about a lot of different things, and it really kind of stems from all the overspending in these wars and everything that comes along with them, including stuff like the war on drugs. So, that is really, if anything, if we need to be vocal about, that will be heard by the politicians right now in particular, is the war, because they do want to hear about it. They do want, especially the ones who are already saying, hey, we should end it anyways. They actually do want their constituents to do this. And see, that's the thing. It's like, we're not supposed to just all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm sure my faith in the system is restored. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with exercising what your rights are. Because if you don't, guess what? They take them. That's what we're seeing, right? So exercise them. And don't take it personal when they ignore it, especially if you're going to talk about ETs. So, and even still, like, things like the animal die-offs, because there is way too much data out there to collect. There's too many specimens to look at. There's a lot of things to look at. it's really unwise for anyone to say, hey, this is my hunch, this is what I think's going on at this point, because recently actually there was a mass cow and buffalo die-off in Vietnam, and so they're looking into that too, so that it's all over the world. It's not just the United States. So, and there actually was an article put out that the government pretty much admitted to killing these birds, different birds because of an accident. Apparently, maybe, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Who knows? Maybe it really was. Who cares? Either way, it only explains, they say, these 200 birds. So how many now have died, and how many other species have died? And and then we get into logistics of even kind of the theories of mustard gas and phosgene. It's indiscriminate, so you're going to see a lot of dead things in general in a big area, not just these birds. Or how does that explain the fish? Stuff like that. So it's kind of, it's the responsibility. It's just not responsible to get on a nationally syndicated television show and say you're something you're not, and then say you have absolute proof of stuff that you don't. Because everyone should look at this way, seriously. And I very rarely say this, but I'm always saying it because it's like, why wouldn't you? Even like what I'm saying, what Aaron just got done saying, or Amy or Carl got done saying, you should assume it's a lie until you have a good reason to prove otherwise. Just in case. You don't have to even say, like, I know you're lying. Just say that possibility that they're lying is there, because that's a tool of discernment. Even if you know it's not, use that there. Put that there, because it's going to allow you to see other possibilities around a situation. Because it's possible, because if someone who has no clue who any of these people are, someone who maybe some of the people here would consider asleep, right, comes in, and you have to tell them this, they're going to be like, these guys might all be full of shit. So what do you tell that person? How do you know they're not full of shit? Because they'll ask, like, well, do you know Aaron? Have you met him? Have you went and seen this and that? And then you say, oh, well, he's flashed his ID on camera. Well, if he forged that? These are questions that people are going to ask. And guess who's going to ask these questions? The people in major media. They're going to ask these questions too. And it's going to be in the form of a sort of attack. Because they are going to try to discredit, because we already see that going on when things like the UFO situation comes up on CNN or anything, or 9/11 for that matter, because it has been on major news. So that's what you get asked, because people just, either because they're so bought into the system, or they're working to suppress, or they just don't know because of the illusion, because it's a huge illusion. It's not. It's not just a simple, puppet show going on here. It really isn't. It's a mass illusion, a global illusion that has been going on for centuries. So, there's a lot to it. And so to really have, for anyone, to get up on the news and saying they know all these things, it just doesn't make any sense. And I have heard Colleen talk, and it's like, and she can come off that way, of like, very know-it-all. But it's like, so I think a lot of people can, when they're in a situation like hosting a show or being interviewed and things like that, which is true. But at the same time, it's like, not everyone buys into the Christian modality, and and that modality of angels. And so when it's espoused that way, it sounds like the same rhetorical bullshit that no one wants to hear, the same fucking dogma crap. Especially when you're talking in terms of like Michael, Joseph, and all these, like, you're talking about the religion that came out of Reptile Central in Rome? That one? That religion? Oh, yeah. Let me take that with a grain of freaking salt. So we gotta think about shit like that, but you know what? I don't think people do, and I'm sure that probably even offended a bunch of people in there, just like it offended everyone. If I said, oh yeah, and all you Christians who are like, well, but I'm a Christian, I'm not Catholic, so I'm not offended by that. Well, you know what? It came from the same fucking place. And you can argue with me, King James versus blah, 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 blah. It all came from the same place. I'm sorry, it did. And then it branched off when King James, a king, a monarch, says, I'm going to change it because I damn well feel like it. Now you're going to come off holier than thou because a king said, my version of the Bible is better than the old one. Stupid. Sorry. I'm sorry I offended you. See, I'm glad you're offended, Alex. See, he's trying to punch me right now, and I'm matrix dodging it. Light and love. He's namasteing me to death right fucking now. So, we have to look at these things, and you can love your religion, love it, practice it, do your rituals. Who cares? But be aware, okay? Be aware that is your construct, that is your modality of spiritual understanding, and there is others, and respect it, because you're not gonna get it like you just heard, because you know what? We get that more from Christians and Muslims than anyone else. So anyone else who isn't a Christian or Muslim, and even Jewish to a certain extent, will hear shit about how wrong we are and how we're going to go to hell and oh my God. So fuck you. I can say this once in a while, just like Aaron can talk his mind about what he's seeing and how he feels at the time. Because you know what? At least I have some facts to back it up. Not just belief. Have your belief. Have your faith. Do your thing. But when you're saying you're going to tell me how different you are, even though the dogma you're practicing is it's the same thing, it's the same characters, it's just edited slightly different. It's like, I like the director's cut. I like the theatrical release. Well, you know what? Fuck you. The real believers like the theatrical cut. And I'm sure some sci-fi dorks out there. I'm a sci-fi dork. I'm cool. Have had these arguments like this. So but it's like the same thing. It's a story, which are archetypal, and they're really just there for us to understand and learn more about things and really kind of move on. So, so that is really one of my biggest pet peeves of when I hear this information communicated. I mean, okay, are there things that one can consider angels out there? Yes, absolutely. But that's what we call them because there's no other word that we got right now. So, that's why when people encounter these things, you hear, it's a fucking alien, man, or there was a fucking ghost, or there was a fucking thing, because we don't have the words. It's charged. So it all kind of blends in together, especially when we're talking about dogma. Let's tie this all into a little knot, shall we? Because where did the whole bad word, all this stuff come from? A lot of it's ingrained from the damn Protestant, Catholic mentality of you shouldn't swear, even though if I'm not mistaken, which I could be, and I'm admitting. See, another thing we have to do. It says in the Bible, thou shalt not swear. Oaths has nothing to do with fucking. We noticed that. I don't think we have. Or saying shit. Things like that. It doesn't. And likewise, that means nothing to the guy in Zimbabwe. So who's to say it's bad? Oh, yeah, the people who want to control your expression. Who's that? Oh, a lot of the institution. Who's that? Oh, I don't know. Religious ones? Oh. Yeah. Oh, and the government ones? The ones that actually say it in the title? Government? Yeah. So we have to be very mindful of these things and consciously go into them, knowing, hey, I see what's going on here, and I choose to participate in this, or I choose not to. Because then if you want to do these things, then you want to, and no one should judge you for that, because that's your right. Go for it. But please, save your tails, because you know what? Whether we're Christian or not, we fucking heard them. God damn it. Fuck. Been everywhere. So, all right, that was my rant on religion / whatever / Colleen. So, it just had to happen. I don't know, is there any thoughts you'd like to share on religion while you're here, Alex? I mean, or any of these things I've touched upon?
I kind of think that, religion, it really is about what you believe, but at the core, it should be about getting in touch with that God energy, whatever way is easier for you. So I don't try to judge too much unless somebody pushes it on somebody as a forceful gesture, It should be a very personal thing, but people can also come into communion with it. Mm-hmm. So it really is about people getting, connected with their source kind of God love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
pretty much it.
Yeah, no, it's true, because it's hey, if you do it through Catholicism, you do it through Mormonism, fine, okay, it's cool, but just don't push it on me. I mean, it's all good. Do your thing. We'd be hypocrites if we said anything else. So yeah, there's just a lot of ways that we have to gather as much information and cross correlate and check things out. Okay, for instance, and we have to understand what judgment really is, because you have to have judgment. It's something that you can't do away with, because it's part of discernment. It's part of preference, things like that. You are going to judge. Get over it. It's understanding how and why and where does that come from. Because, for instance, I'm sure a lot of people took offense to some of the things like the way it's phrased, that Colleen Thomas sells her body, because that can mean a lot of different things. Okay, and so when someone says that, that can mean that she's a prostitute, which I don't know, but that's it could be inferred. Okay, should someone watch how they express? Well, they could. It doesn't really matter, because technically, is she kind of doing that by saying you're going to pay for the bikini video? Well, yeah, you kind of are. I mean, it's like, under that context, I'm not sure if everyone knows what happened. I highly suggest everyone goes and listens to the Go Knob interview, which was done, I believe, last Friday. So it is linked on our Universal Truth Evolution YouTube page, and you can find that for those in the archives as well. You should go back and listen to that, because what she's saying is that she was trying to demonstrate her chakras glowing while wearing a bathing suit, obviously, so you can see the skin. Okay, I don't know if there's more videos in this, but this is the one that was being discussed on the show. And because apparently she claims she has another video where they have her throat chakra glowing. And so she wanted to see if she can duplicate it. Fine, I can understand that. The human bodies don't offend me. Shape, size, age, I don't care. Just fine. That's fine. You can get as naked as you want. Don't care. It's not going to offend me. Okay. The thing, obviously, where this tension comes in is because it's the rental on the bikini video. I mean, that Bow Rights and Purposes doesn't really have that much content, or doesn't really serve that much purpose other than demonstration. And then you have to ask, well, why? And then you have to ask, well, that kind of almost seems narcissistic. So it's like, okay, I can see how that's not necessarily appropriate energy to put towards that. I could see it's almost like more appropriate if it's like, I'm going to give you this much of the technique video, and then you'll have to pay for the rest of the technique video, not watch me demonstrate my nakedness and look at myself, for money. So I can see how that is there. I mean, if she wants to do that, I'm not even saying that's necessarily wrong. If that's how she wants to make her money, fine. Hey, the strippers got to eat too. So, but at least say, yes, I am doing this because people, a lot of guys especially, like to pay to see women wear less clothes, preferably none if they can. And it happens. It's an industry. If you just say it, then just say it. Don't try to play a game. Like, oh, I'm trying to be spiritually enlightened by making you pay to see me demonstrate something we could all do. It's not going to work that way. It makes you look like a damn dirty hypocrite. It makes you look like you're just out for money. Even though, on that show, Colleen does say that she's not going through that great of financial times, which may or may not be the case. I don't know. Because once again, just because she said it, I'm not going to believe it. And I say, fine, yeah, that's a possibility. Thank you for bringing that possibility to my awareness. And as time goes on and as it's cross-correlated with other information and experiences, yeah, could be. So, fine. Okay? But it's like, we have to really kind of look at this from all angles, including kind of like, what everyone's saying. That's why we had Aaron come on the show now afterwards too, because it was a very intense show, shall we say, that went on, and I understand Aaron's how he's taking a bit personal with the whole concept of whistleblower, because like how he said, people like Bob Dean, Bill Cooper, Andy Basaggio. These people are under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of pressure to not talk, or at least they were, as may still are, just like Aaron. And, I think a lot of Colleen's instances, as it was kind of, they talked about, a lot of them are inferred. She can't prove that NSA is doing this to her computer. Can they? Yes. But so can a lot of other agencies, or so could a hacker who doesn't like you. But she went on air saying, "Oh, the NSA," because why? Because it looks like it boosts her credibility in the alternative media game. Because why? Because it seems like everyone really enjoys these experiences of the government and looking after them because they I don't know, helps make them think it's real. It's real, everyone. They put it in the Patriot Act. So they're probably watching all of you in one way, shape, or form anyways. So you can't hide. It's already there at all the main internet junction points of all the data that you've ever sent through, so don't even bother hiding it in your little folder. They know. If they really want it, it's there if they need it. So it's just there. But why? Well, because it makes the drama, right? It gets people listening. And that's really kind of, as we're saying, it's almost like the news show is almost, that's the purpose. It's like, let's just get the attention. Just like was demonstrated in the other video. It's like, well, the attention's going to get me the money. And if this isn't a conscious plan, then I'm telling Colleen, hey, Colleen, make it a conscious plan. And if, I do consulting, you can hire me on this. I mean, it's like, but make it conscious, because it makes you look like a liar, or it makes you look like a hypocrite. It makes you look like you're out for money. It damages your credibility, especially in conjunction with the information that's just non-congruent and the contradictions when confronted. It's interesting because, honestly, I actually admire Colleen's fire and her passion. I'm just hoping that it's appropriately aimed. Because, and from what I've seen, it doesn't really seem to me like she's like Bill Cooper or even Aaron. Because, honestly, I think Aaron is a very modest guy. And I'm not just saying this because I'm his friend. I honestly never expected to be like this friendly with the guy. I was a truth seeker, just like everyone else here who's listening to this now and in the archives. I just wanted to find, hey, if this guy in my area, is he full of shit? Is he a disinfo guy? I want to know. And so I wanted to meet him, and I did. Yeah, he's not. So, but yeah, Aaron, and he's went through stuff, man. He's really does. And if you guys check out, obviously his second Project Camelot video, and the video I did with him, which is the essential story of Aaron McCollum, on YouTube, you'll see that the remnants of some of the stuff that has been attempted on him, and marks on his face, and even I think those who are surrounded, or he's who's in the in these circles, shall we say, have experienced enough to be like, well, if not, what he's saying isn't true, I wouldn't have seen this. I mean, kind of thing. And that's not to say that it's Aaron doing it. It has nothing to do with Aaron necessarily. It has to do with the people opening their minds to what's going on, even being followed. Because, they follow you anyways. They take pictures of you anyways. Have you noticed all the cameras up on all the corners and all the other stuff? It's all there. And, on the internet, too. Who do you think does all the approval? Oh, this site is safe. This site isn't. It's not coming from, a public rating system. It's coming from them paying people to sit there and say, this is appropriate by our governmental standards, which we're arbitrarily making to fit into the mold of what we feel is the proper conditioning. That's what it is. So, we have to make sure we take that into consideration. And, all the things that Aaron was talking about, everything, including exposing some of the things going on. Like, there was actually an article today about one of the bigger humanitarian groups. Was it Global Health? It's like Global Health Fund, I believe it's called. I believe Bono is tied to this and all this other stuff. So I know Alex will feel really vindicated. They're been caught with a lot of fraud. Bunch millions of dollars being siphoned off, and actually even stuff like getting the drugs that are donated and slanging them on the black market, what I mean? So it's like all these kind of things like this, and so but everyone would donates obviously millions of dollars to these people because they're saying, hey, we're doing a good job, we're helping people, and they'll go ahead and put the money to getting the picture taken in that little shack in Africa that they call a schoolhouse, and then once it's over, it's gone, they're gone. Oprah had a little run-in with that not too long ago, where one of her schools was just totally ran to shit because it's like, well, I built it. It's like, am I done? It's like, no, damn it. So, it's just, it's really, really, really interesting to see how everyone really does express themselves in their own way and how they do believe they're doing the right thing. And so we have to take that into consideration, because like how everyone's in agreement, it's not like we want to turn it into like Kill Colleen Day and join the club. That's not what this is about at all. It's really about kind of pointing out the fact that there is false information being disseminated, and there's contradictions, and there's some questionable judgment. And Aaron's a little upset because, really it was a personal thing between Aaron and Colleen on that show, which is important that people get a chance to check that out, because they had a good discussion there and it was heated. So, excuse me. So he is in his right to kind of say what he did, especially in light of the Festival of Enlightenment, shall we say? Because they actually did say Aaron McCollum is a bad guy. Stuff like that. For doing what? For showing that in the very least the event seems to be money motivated. I mean, yeah. So, like, why do you seem like you have a problem with that? Oh yeah, let's just not get into the whole Pleiadian, thing of Aaron helping these Pleiadian things. And I think it's kind of funny because it's like all of a sudden it's like, here we are, Pleiadian again, right? And it's like, okay, let's bring them into the mix. They're trying to shoot them down with the missiles off of California. Now they're going to have, an ET exchange program going on with the help of Aaron. I'm noticing some correlations here. I'm noticing some things here. And so this is what I'm saying. What am I talking about? Cross-correlating. And that goes for everything. It's all associative, including our psychic mind, so to speak. Our subconscious is associative. So we pay attention to them. Hey, it might just lead us to that thing that we're looking for, which is called the truth. And that's obviously what we're here for. So everyone's paying attention, and that's why it's like how Aaron was saying, information is power. So, and that's why the information is what's trying to be withheld, mostly because even that information, it's not even necessarily the free energy device. You let a free energy device go out, doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's the information on how to make it. Well, now you just, you lost your share of your monopoly of the market, or your perceived control of that concept. So it's really the root. The information is the root. So that is what's being controlled. That is what is being embargoed. There's the embargo, that truth embargo that Stephen Bassett talked about on the show. It really is an embargo. Because like there's a point Stephen made in one of his prior videos too, that it's not illegal to cover up a UFO crashing. There's no law in the books that says you can't cover up a crashed UFO. It's at least not for the government. Maybe they put one on for us, but I don't know about the government. So it's really like they're just not telling us, and so that's really what it is. It's an embargo. I mean, and in a sense, that's what's going on with all these different things, including stuff like 9/11. There's an embargo on the truth, and because it's obvious that there's more to it, and the very least, without even getting into any deep conspiracies about whatever this and that, just ask, well, how come we can't see the video from the Pentagon? There's 50-something cameras there, pointed at it, and we get to see this little blurry webcam. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, and it could obviously embargo on the information. And how we end this embargo? Well, we ask questions. We ask the hard questions. Why can't we see the tapes? It's classified. Why is it classified? Well, because, shut up. That's pretty much what they're going to say. So we have to keep asking, why are they classified? Why is it classified again? Oh, yeah, while we're at it, why did Building 7 fall down? You know, things like that. We have to ask these questions. You know? So it's a wacky, crazy little world here. And the only way we're going to get to the bottom of things is really by asking those questions and researching and verifying our information. You know? That's really one of the purposes I'm talking about stuff here today at all, why I feel inclined to do so, because, you know, there is a lot going on. We have the animal die-offs. We have the whole financial situation. We have the wars going on. And we're seeing a bunch of weird shit happen at the same time. So there's quite a bit going on. And so we have to be able to filter out what isn't going to be of use, you know, and what is. You know, so I think a lot of us here are obviously on the right track, you know, because we are looking at alternative energies, alternative healing modalities, including cures that are coming out. You know, we have, you know, associates, even, you know, very close supporters and even guests on the UTE who are working on some phenomenal stuff. You know, that's really going to change the world. And really, it's not even so much that it's not here; it's just that there's that inhibitor, you know, that's keeping it from going. And right now, that inhibitor is really the financial system, hence the reason we're in this economic crisis, because they know if people had abundance, they would do what they want. And what do they want to do right now? Well, we want to do stuff for ourselves. Well, we can't have that, because then they won't rely on us to sell them their medicine after we made them sick, or they won't have us to rely on. They don't rely on us to, you know, buy our you know, liquefied dead things for fuel. We want to stay in the fucking caveman era and still burn dead shit for fuel. So, you know, that's why, you know. So, you know, so yeah, when Aaron talks about being proactive, you know, I can't agree more. And what does that mean? That means create the reality you want. And if it's not being an activist, well, create the you want. Ask yourself, am I happy with myself and my life? And if the answer is no, do what little you can to change it. Do something little. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to, like, you know, lose 100 pounds. You don't have to, you know, quit slamming heroin. You know, if you want to, you can. You know? I'd highly
start heroin and quit it.
Yeah, something like that. I don't endorse heroin. I think you probably should quit the heroin if you're on the heroin. But you know, it's a big step. So you know how to start that step. You can start with, you know, cutting out the Doritos first, and then work to the heroin. But you know, because, you know, those are a lot of fat in there, and there's the GMO corn, you know, and it's like, see, that gets on a whole other thing. Yeah, it is a lot of baggy cats right there, and then when they get out, you have to herd them, and herding cats isn't easy work. No, it's not at all. So yeah, you know, we create the reality that you want. And I don't even mean that from the new age hippie namaste buttholes, as Aaron likes to say sometimes, of just oming yourself to nirvana and whatever. Okay, I'm not necessarily talking about that kind of create reality. Yeah, because you need to create your reality in your mind. You need to have that construct of, whoa, what do I want? Or else you're not really creating it. You're just kind of letting shit happen. So you have to know. Yeah.
You're creating a different dimension, but you got to bring it to this one. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really how it is. Yeah, and so you have to have that clear focus of what you want. But the thing is, you have to also get that clear focus of what it's going to take in order to manifest it in this reality. You know, and hey, maybe that is meaning you have to just meditate for days. Who knows? Maybe that is actually one of the things you have to do, because that, you know, maybe that is. But the point is, like, you have to be realistic. You have to be practical about it. You know, there is no one going to come and save you. Okay, even when the cures come out, and the cures are coming out, you know, they are, you know, for all these different things, they're coming out. But, you know, that doesn't mean it's not going to come back. Because just because if you cure it, doesn't mean it's not going to come back. Like, you can cure a headache with a pill, but I'm sure people have had more than one headache, you know, so there's a reason why. And so that's really what this awareness is moving towards. It's moving to understanding the why, so it doesn't come back. And then we have the cure. We're going to have the cures to help. Because in that process of being cured, we'll have the proper mindset to say, well, why did this happen in the first place? And then add the understanding, not only the awareness to ask that, but the understanding of why, energetically, spiritually, psychically, and then obviously physically. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of tremendous healings going on, and it's going to be soon. Whether the inhibitor of the economic situation is still there or not, it's going to be there. So because you can't stop evolution, you can't. It's one of the reasons why we have that in our name, Universal Truth Evolution, because it's evolving, it's expanding, ever creating. The fact that we are means that we always will be, and we always will be expanding, because it had to be created in some way. This inception of who we are right now, here and now, had to be created, and it's part of the construct of reality. So we're always going to be creating, evolving. So this is actually probably a pretty good time to end it, since we're really running out of time anyways. And actually I'm getting real quick. I got you on the air, voice styler, right now. I didn't realize you wanted to say a shout out. How's it going? Is he even there? Hello. Okay. Well, hey, that was a shout out from Voice Styler there to the chat room. We gave it a try, buddy. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start ending the show here after all, and thank everyone for tuning in. And obviously there was a lot of fireworks today, so it was a pretty good one, I must say. It was a lot of freedom of expression going on, and as Aaron says, we really appreciate that, and we don't appreciate it when people like Microsoft feel the need to limit that because they deem something, what was it?
Offensive.
Yeah, offensive or whatever it was. So, illegal or offensive, whatever the bullshit excuse it was, because we know Aaron doesn't necessarily dig on porn. And me personally, I don't have any qualms against porn. I do have some qualms against how the industry is run, and that's why I don't support particular types of porn. But you know what? Hey, human sexuality and sexual energy in general is a good thing. It's part of life. We have to understand it. So, but yeah, so it was a great time hanging out with everyone, and we'll be back Tuesday with our crop circle expert, and it's going to be a great time. And I hope you're all there to join us, and those of you who left already in the archives, maybe, we wish you were here with us. And so we're actually going to go ahead and continue with the live music night here at the Universal Truth Evolution. Play us out with a favorite from Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. And thanks once again, and we will catch everyone next time. So, Alex, we're about to do some rocking here. As Epicor, Apathy here always does. So once again, thank you, everyone. And we'll try not to annoy you too bad and sing too out of key, because we know this is a kick-ass song, and we love it too. And so we want to do a good job for all of you as a thank you for hanging out with us in this late night show, Universal Truth Evolution. So whenever you're ready, Alex, go ahead and take it away. tuning in today. Universal Truth Evolution.
.com.